Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. We're early today because I was supposed to be on here for 9 p.m. GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, but I decided to give myself some leeway. If you're in the chat and you can hear me, please respond in the comments by hitting the number 1 so that I can see you and I know that you can hear me. Um yeah, so let me see the ones. Let me see the ones, guys. Well, I've come in early as well so that I can kind of build um the people in the chat. So and just give it some time for people to join us. So yeah, let me know if you can hear um my voice right now. If I see no ones, I will assume people can't hear me and I might just bounce. So I really don't have a lot to say on this side issue. Well, I do and I don't, but I don't want to. This isn't a normal live. I don't have to be. I don't have to do this. Lots of people are already invecting on this issue and speaking on it. So it's not really my voice won't is really insignificant. So just you know let me know, chat. I want an interactive discussion tonight. I want to see people talking in the Okay, good, good. I want to see people talking in the chat, giving their opinions, giving their condolences, how we move forward. Yeah. Loud and clear says Jelmo. Thank you, Jelmo. Hope I'm pronouncing that properly. Alvin Porter says 1. Thank you very much, Alvin. Yeah, so we'll just hang around for a bit. Wait for some more people to join our coterie. Um, how are we all? How are we all? Let me know. If you're listening to me now, um, give me a 5. Give me a 5, chap. If you know who Jason Arday is by now, if you've heard of his name, and you kind of are clued up on this matter at hand. That'd be a 5. That'd be a 5. Thank you, Jermo. Thank you, Cleveland. Thank you. I see you. Right. So we got some people in the chat who obviously know what's up. Okay. Um, I didn't know anything about Mr. Arday. I didn't know anything, and neither should I have. Neither should I have. But here we are, and it should have stayed that way, really. Because what we talking about? What are we talking about? This is just an academic. He's just an academic. He's not a celebrity. He's not a singer. He's not a pop star. He's not a movie star. None of those things. He's not a politician. He hasn't abused, molested anybody. Let's just leave it at that. Like a lot of these politicians. He isn't blowing up children in all and sundry parts of the world. Children, women, and children and men. He isn't the cause of weeping and wailing halfway across the world. He's not. He's just an academic. But you wouldn't know it. You would think that Mr. Arday was running for office in the UK, and that he had defrauded his way to coming within a hair's breadth of becoming prime minister or president of the United States or something like that. Because for the past, some people say have been saying past week. No, no, no. We've had this. We've had this for the past, I'd say, at least a fortnight now. It's been nothing but wall to wall coverage of this man's life, his story, and you have to ask yourself why. Why? You know? Right. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. I wanted to speak on this issue whilst it was hot. When I say hot, I mean whilst, well, none of us knew what was gonna happen. None of us knew that what has happened was going to happen. But I was going to talk about it whilst the man was still alive. I was going to talk about it, not knowing that this unfortunate event would take place. I was just gonna comment. But I thought better of it. I'm not. This channel is a history channel in the main. It's a history channel, and there's so much sickness, so much stuff that we have to go through and wade through in this world already presently, that history for me and for the Trill Black channel is supposed to be a sort of escape, particularly non-traumatic history. Our stories have been too our experience, sadly, particularly as it relates to uh, of lighter skinned individuals and their history, has been particularly traumatic of late in modern to early modern period history. It's been particularly traumatic. So this channel was and is and remains a place of escape back to a time when it wasn't so, back to a time when blackness wasn't linked to trauma. And I'm going to do my best to keep it that way. I'm going to do my best to keep it that way. So I really don't want to be, um, from time to time, even though I don't want to be commenting on some of the show that's going on right now, and we are in the thick of it right now. Um, but even though I don't want to, sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to. Nothing I could have said, nothing I might. I'm insignificant. I'm a nobody, so it doesn't really matter. But so nothing I was going to say would have made a difference to Mr. Arday's life or the outcome. So in that regard, I don't regret not saying anything. Um, I think I made a post. Did I make a post? No, no, I made a post after he passed. But kind of wish I did something. Maybe it would have added to. I don't know. I don't know. But Mr. Arday is dead. The youngest professor, I think, not black or ethnic, just the youngest professor ever to attain a position, that position, the position of a professorship at Cambridge. And he's no longer with us because in the United Kingdom, where we supposedly have no racism, because a lot of people will tell you in the UK that there is no such thing as racism in the UK. The United Kingdom is a place free of racism and has always been. I was listening to a show on the radio. I was driving, and I like to listen to Radio 4, BBC Radio 4 when I'm driving. And I was listening, I think it was last weekend, not this one just gone by, but the weekend before. And one of the individuals dared one. It's a panel. So I was listening to Radio 4, and there's a show called Any Questions, and it's a panel show where politicians, it's invariably politicians from different factions, different parties, They sit and they answer questions. And something that's going on in the UK right now, chap, and Troll Nation is, well, it's the same thing that's happening in America, in the world over. There is this rise of, and some of us haven't, we're not clued up yet. Some of us are still samboing about. Um, I'm not gonna say Uncle Tom because Uncle Tom is a misnomer. Uncle Tom was a hero, and it's sad that Uncle Tom is being used as a pejorative right now. People need to read Harriet Beecher Stowe's book before they start before they use that phrase incorrectly. But Sambo is the one you need. Sambo is the character in Uncle Tom who the master gives the whip to, and he doesn't care a jot. You know, he doesn't care a jot. He will do the master's bidding as long as he is warm and well fed, and is a little bit above the rest of the slaves. There's a lot of Samboism going around right now, and some of us haven't. We're not clued up yet. I still have people telling me. I mean, 2026. I can understand when this man came on the scene, this TRUMP fellow. I can understand when he came on the scene and people, I was part of the wave of people that thought, oh, this is refreshing. Foolish as I was, well, this is refreshing. A politician that speaks, even if you don't like what he's saying, he speaks straight from the heart. And a lot of us got swept in that wave. But I mean, you only have to be paying attention a little bit to realize there's something wrong with the world right now, and it kind of stems from this man. Since this man has come on the scene, there's something that's gone awry with the world. So now in the UK, you have a situation where we are trying to manufacture the same thing that's happening in the United States with Mr. TRUMP, Mr. RUMP, as as my friend the blue-eyed test lady um calls him Rump. She calls him. Um, we have a reform party. They're known as the Reform Party in the UK, and they are trying to bring about, gin up some kind of MAGA situation here in the UK, and they're gaining traction. Lots of people are flocking to them. They're actually they're actually contenders now. They're contenders, and this is a despicable party. It's a despicable party. It's a despicable movement that's growing by the day in the UK. And then we had a man on the panel on this radio show on the BBC. Years ago, this man would not have been allowed on a panel show on the BBC. Yeah, years ago would not have been allowed. But he is today. That's the culture we have today. And this man dared to fix his mouth to say, he said, I think he was defending. What was he defending? I can't remember what he was defending, but he was defending something stupid. And he said, the United Kingdom, Britain has always treated people fairly. It's always there's never been, and I I I I didn't even know whether to laugh or not. I was just stunned. I think I did. I smiled to myself, like, but it's not surprising anymore. It's actually not surprising anymore. There's all kinds of madness, gaslighting going on all over the world. This man said Britain has always been a fair place to all peoples, and the audience erupted in a lot. In just the audience just laughed, and I was quite glad because at least the audience, at least the audience is awake to on some level. So this is what's going on in the world over. I want to show you guys something on the screen. If you're joining us, welcome. Press 5 if you know who Jason Arday is. If you're clued up, let me know so that I don't have to waste time with the background. House yeah, given a background story. Let me know, chat. 5. We got 22 people in the house. Let me know. Drop some 5 so I don't have to waste time. If you are inclined, if you have some extra funds, I've put in the link at the bottom of this live in the description at the bottom of this video. I've put a link to Dr. Arday's family's GoFundMe for his funeral and associated costs. Thank you, Alvin. Alvin knows the background. I'm gonna present something on screen, and I want you to chat. I want you to work with me here and tell me what what I'm gonna do is I want you to tell me what the odd one out. That's what I want you to do. The odd one out. Okay. So here we go. Nobody knows all the trouble. Nobody knows. Nobody knows all the trouble. Nobody knows. Okay, here we go. Right. Let's present this. I didn't know Professor Arday. I didn't know him personally, so I'm not gonna pretend it's caught me as deep as it would do if I was his family. Then there's not gonna be any theatrics here. It's sobering. It's sobering. What's happened in this country. It's sobering. Here we go. Tell me, chap, if you can see what's on the screen. Can we see what's on the screen, chat? Okay, that's the BBC homepage. That was the BBC homepage on the day of Professor Arday's passing, of his on the day he took his own life, that we believe. Okay, so chat, that's the BBC's homepage. This is the Daily Telegraph on the same day, with hours after news has broken that Professor Arday's passed. This is the Daily Mail. This is the Daily Mail. The Telegraph and the Daily Mail, between the two of them, they're the most widely disseminated newspapers in the UK. The Daily Mail by far, I believe, outranks all others. And the Daily Mail is a right-wing rag. It's not. I mean, a rag's even a rag you might, use in an emergency. The Daily Mail is a right-wing toilet paper, well used. That's what the Daily Mail is. Well used. You wouldn't go near it, not with a barge pole, but many people do. Many people do. The Telegraph. Now, does anyone, chat? I'm just gonna ask you a question. I want this to be interactive, chat. What's the difference? What's the difference, chat? Let me know. There's enough people listening right now. There's enough people I can see in the chat who are watching. So please, just what is the difference between these three? I could have put more. The Guardian, they surprised me too, because they're supposed to be liberal and left wing and allied with the minorities and all that bull testicles. Okay. What's going on, guys? What's the odd one out? What actually? Which of these home pages are the odd one out? The BBC, the Daily Mail, the Telegraph. Which one and why? Nobody knows. In trouble I've seen. I'm gonna keep rotating till someone answers. What is the odd one now? Do 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 do. Do 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 dum 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 dum. Do 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 dum 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 dum. All right, come on, people. Which one sticks out and why? Thank you, Jelmo. Thank you. Thank you for not snubbing me. Anyone else? The whole have similar wordings. I would say none. Well, you can't see the whole. You can't see um the entire. Really, I've been cheeky. This isn't the entire page of the Daily Mail on that day that you're looking at. Okay, it's not. Um, this next one, the Daily Mail, the Telegraph. Sorry, this is the front page. The day of this Daily Mail screenshot, you have to scroll down. Okay, this isn't the front. This isn't the main. Um, this isn't the headline page on the day. You had to scroll down. This is the headline page of the Telegraph on the day, hours after his death. Okay, this one that you're looking at here, and this is the headline page of the BBC on the day of his passing. Okay, now what I'm getting at here is pretty simple. I've titled this live "How to Kill a Cambridge Don and Get Away with It." Previously, it was how the British media killed a Cambridge Don, a Cambridge professor. Okay, previously, but I last minute I changed my mind. I said no, 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 no. Yes, yeah, they did, blah, blah, blah. But what's really going on here? What's really going on here? This is, we are watching in live time how to kill a Cambridge Don and get away with it. What you are looking at is the final act. Okay. What the British media have done to Professor Jason Arday and his family, thank you. Bayo, you are on point. You're getting there. Yes, you're very warm. At least the first part of your sentence is bang on. One seems no coverage, other seems to disassociate him from Cambridge. My goodness, thank you. Somebody's awake. Thank you and participating. This is the cleanup job. These people that we are dealing with, if you are not clued up now, this is an existential war. There is an evil. I don't think we can call it racism anymore. I think people are racist. All walks of life. People from all walks of life have racial prejudice. But what we are watching is a particular animus. Is a particular animus. Okay, towards the black man, towards the black man and woman and child. And it comes particularly from a group of people, and it has been there for a long time. I'm sorry to say it. It hurts me deeply to say it because I know it's not every white person. I know. I know that. For my own personal life, I know that. But it pains me to say that there is something at the root of Western civilization that has decided that it's decided to reserve some a special kind of animus, malice for the black race. Maybe it goes back to when the Moors were ruling Europe. Maybe it goes back to I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. Um some of you know, some of you know, let me not go there. Let me not go there. Okay, let me not go there. Let me just say I have relatives, friends who are of the Caucasian extraction, and they have told me themselves that there is a fear. There is an existential fear. And I think it is a fear that is Freudian. It is a fear that is Freudian. And you guys, if you know, if you hear that phrase and you're clued up, you know what I'm talking about. It is a fear, almost a visceral fear from the elites. I don't know. Maybe it's not so elite. Maybe it's not so uh um cloistered away. Maybe it's more widespread than that. But there's always been this visceral fear of the people I'm mixing with, the people who are not of the same skin color as me, who are truthful, will tell me straight up, black masculinity, two words, black masculinity, black masculinity. It's really something that keeps some of these people up at night. Competition. There's a fear of a level playing field with certain groups of people. And when the playing field is leveled, you tend to get any attempt to level that playing field. Because let's be honest, that's what a positive discrimination is. That's what affirmative action is. It's an attempt, imperfect as it may be. Okay, affirmative action, positive discrimination, DEI, whatever you want to call it. Even though we don't benefit, black folk do not benefit from DEI as um trans and gay and all these other groups that tag along as if my skin color is equivalent to your sexual disposition, to some kind of behavior that years ago, not so long ago, would have been treated as a mental disorder. And it's still a mental disorder. If you don't like it, just walk right now. Walk right now. Okay, don't be chatting rubbish to me in the chat. Just walk off right now. But these are the groups, statistically, women, white women, trans, gay, and all these other groups that statistically actually benefit from DEI. Yet we are the face of it. Talk about DEI, black folk are the face of it. Something happened recently, right? We had a crossing at Cuta or Ceuta. I don't know how you pronounce it. I say Cuta, so bugger off if you have a different way. But you had a crossing of immigrants, quote unquote, into Ceuta. Okay. And the media was apoplectic in the UK. Oh, they're invading. They're invading. Immigrants. People got. Now, you look into the story. If you didn't know, you would think people were getting on boats, which they've been wall to wall coverage of that as well. But you would think, if you were ignorant, you would think people were getting on boats, invasion, weapons in hand, in tow, and crossing over to Spain. A few hundred people cross the border. You look into it, Cuba is firmly fixed on the African continent. Firmly fixed. It is a domain that the Spanish robbed from the Moroccan Empire. Okay, it's like Morocco owning a piece of Spain. So you have Africans, quote, crossing the border on the African continent, on the African landmass. Okay, and but the insult doesn't stop there. Chat. The insult doesn't stop there. That's not what I'm getting at. When this story is reported, okay, the face of the immigrants, that what I noticed that a lot of people didn't notice, I didn't see a lot of people pick up on this, is that you would have in the background lots of beige, lots of um tanned, your stereotypical modern day North Africa, person from North Africa, North African, okay, but the image that papers like the Telegraph and the Daily Mail would choose to run with, okay, the image that they would choose to run with would place one black person, okay, of quote unquote sub-Saharan, or let's call it what it really is. There's no such thing, but infra-Saharan individual would have one actual black person, and that black person would be in the middle. So, and you'd almost have a blurred out background, almost, because it was as though, never mind that the majority of the people crossing are actual Moroccans or North African. Okay. Never mind that. Okay. Look at the black guy. Look at the black guy. That's who you should be afraid of. And I'm telling you now, it is existential. It is visceral. I noticed it again and again. In fact, you click on the actual news stories and you look at the images of the majority of the people crossing, making that crossing into Ceuta, crossing again, just walking a few meters into to African territory. Okay, they crossed, they invaded. Okay, you click on the article and what you see is lots of brown, light brown, like I said, tanned people who they wouldn't be able to place in southern Italy. Okay, white folk with a tan. That's who you're getting. But the article, the headline, the image on the headline is a group of black folk. Tell me, there's not something wrong right now. There's not something deeply, deeply wrong. And if you're black yourself, if you're a black individual, because we still have them, we still have the Officer Tatum types running around with the narrative that, oh, stop crying racism, stop crying, it's 2026, nobody. If you're still running around doing that, shame on you. Shame on you. It will touch you soon enough. You too, it will touch you too soon enough. And when it touches you, when it does touch you, chat, you can finish that sentence. We're not checking for them. We're not checking for these types. Okay? We're not checking for them. That's what's going on. So you have, as my friend Bayo said in the chat, you have this man after they've done so. In fact, let me change the title of this video, because that's what we're gonna do. Let me take this off and let's go to how are we gonna do this? Let me share screen. Yeah, they'll get their wake up call. Yes, Jomo, they get their wake up call. You still have them. If you're in the UK, you have them on the equivalent of Fox News in the UK, GB News and Talk Radio, coming on Nana Aqua and all these chimpanzees coming on the screen and acting a fool, cutting a dirty, nasty jig, talking about how anyway, you still have them. You still have them. But funnily enough, people like Nana Aqua, people they were getting confronted by the self-same racists, and they were being told there's a clip of this woman who thinks she's part of it. She's part of the in crowd. She's one of the good house ones. Okay. There's a clip of this person from Restore Britain, one of these racist parties, saying, actually, you're not actually British, you're not actually English. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. And you can see the shock in her face to be told she's not actually. Anyway, all right, let's change this. I titled this How to Kill, but let's change it right now. hmm Let's go to real time and get away with it in 10 easy steps. I'm going to show you how to kill a Cambridge Don and get away with it in 10 easy steps. That's what we're going to do tonight. I'll show you the easy steps. We've already kind of gone through one. Okay? Easy as sunny morning. Easy as sunny morning. Okay, right. Right, that's the title. That's the title, chap. I'm going to show you how to kill a Cambridge Don in 10 easy steps and get away with it in 10 easy steps. Number one, you've got to have the cleanup. No. What am I saying? Hey. Let's do this properly. Let's do this properly. No. How to kill a Cambridge Don in the United Kingdom. Okay. Copy and paste if you're in America. It's the same thing. Rinse, repeat. Wherever you are in the world right now, Argentina, USA, uh, France, Mexico, or any of these places. Okay. How to kill a Cambridge Don and get away with it nice and easy in 10 easy steps. Number one, he has to be black. He has to be black. Okay. But let's do a little sub heading. Okay. Let's have a subheading on under that. It has to be black, and you have to have your cleanup operation ready to go. So the point of what I was showing you earlier, chap, the point of what I was showing you earlier was this. Let's go for it again. You have to have your cleanup operation ready to go. And what you're looking at is your cleanup operation. These papers, the Daily Mail and the Telegraph, have given us nothing in this country but wall-to-wall coverage. Like I said at the beginning of this, you would think Jason Arday was an escaped convict. You would think he was running for prime minister. You would think he was running for some high office in this country. You would think he was the cause for he had almost started World War III, as some other individuals I want to do. You would think he was in the Epstein files. Okay? But when he takes his life, I said, let's go and see. Let's go and see on the day he took his life. Let's go and see what the Daily Mail will be saying now after they've got what they wanted. And lo and behold, I had to scroll down. I almost cried. Guys, I'm not joking. I actually almost cried at this. I I didn't because I can't be fake, He wasn't, I didn't know him personally. So I would have to be ginning it up. And that's a human condition. I didn't know him personally. So I couldn't. But if I had known this man personally, boy, oh boy, boy, oh boy. I had to scroll down to find Jason Arday on the left hand side there. The former Cambridge professor accused of plagiarism is found dead. Oh, not wall to wall anymore. Cleanup operation underway. Now they're all getting themselves ready. Today in the UK, the Telegraph already has an article out about how Cambridge sets Arday up to fail. This is their page. This is the front page on the Daily Telegraph on the day Jason Arday passed. You didn't even have the decency, the common courtesy. You had to scroll down several times, okay? Several lengths to get. It was a simple line. It was just one line, one sentence. Jason Arday found dead. As if we hadn't just gone through the past 2 weeks of you making this man. Look, they put the wildfires as the top news. The wildfires were going on. There've been wildfires going on in this country all throughout the past fortnight. So they killed this man. They hounded him to death. That's who the two people in the thumbnail are, by the way, on either side. They're the editors in chief, respectively, of the uh, Telegraph on the left hand side and the Daily Mail on the right hand side. They killed this man, and they didn't even have the decency to make him the head story. Only the BBC did accordingly. Only the BBC. And the BBC is nothing to write home about. The BBC is scum as well in their own way. But only the BBC had the decency to do the right thing and put this story front and center. After hounding this man, I'm telling you guys, this is a different level of hatred. This is tantamount to this thing that you're seeing right now is tantamount to what this channel deals with constantly. You research history, you find that people, great names in history, great achievements in history were actually done by black people. You can watch my videos. From the greatest knight in French history to the person who originated the Arthurian legends, Antara ibn Shaddad, to all over history, to my latest video. Go and check out where the origin of Homer's Troy comes from, the Trojan horse strategy, the story of the Trojan horse. Go and check. There's nothing else like it for thousands of years until you get to Homer, supposedly Homer. Okay, but when they talk about this thing called the Odyssey and the Iliad, they talk like it was some in this white vacuum. Oh, look at what we did and gave the world our high culture. So in life, these characters, these black characters, these black contributions in life, they're called ugly. Aesop of Aesop's fables. It's almost certain that such a person existed. You know very little about him, but there's enough in the written record that an obscurified, not obscure, but in his time well famous African individual or black individual finding himself in a Mediterranean space, in a European space, Southern European space. Okay, there's enough evidence that existed. Why? Because they're calling him names like snub-nosed, flat, thick-lipped, ugly. So in their life, they're ridiculed. They have to face prejudice. Okay, for existing in white spaces. They rise above that and they do some of the most amazing things. And to add insult to injury, after they've risen above that, that part of their story becomes neglected. It gets hushed away. The very thing that's part of their legend, their origin story. Now, white academia acts as if never existed. Oh, there are some rumors that Aesop was an Ethiopian in a Grecian space. There are some obscure things that might suggest they don't even talk about the Homer thing. There are some obscure things that might suggest, but yeah, it's very tenuous. That's what they've done to our day, in a manner of speaking, in a way. Now they're gonna act like they had nothing to do with this horrendous state of affairs that's come to light. How to kill a Cambridge Don and get away with it in 10 easy steps. He has to be black. But make sure for that black man, make sure that you got your cleanup game on point. You got your cleanup game on point. Let's take this off the screen. Okay, chap. 10 ways. Okay, 10 easy steps, right? I want to show you something else. So we've done the cleanup game because that's important. That's important. I see you, London. London is in the chat. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for joining the Troll Nation tonight, bro. Thank you for all you do in the background with your research. Um, yeah, appreciate you, bro. Okay, right. Um, you have to how have they done this? How have they done this? How have they done this? All right. Number two, how to kill a Cambridge Don and get away with it in 10 easy steps. Step number two, he's got to be black. He's got to be black. And that's step number two. No, listen. Your ears aren't hurting. It's the same as number one. And there's a good reason. It's the same as number one. He's got to be black. Um, okay, fine. Let me give you a subheading. Okay? So you get your money's worth. You've got to be moral about it. So it's got to be black, but you've got to be moral about it. What do I mean by that? There's been a very sanctimonious approach to all of this. I don't know, okay? Uh this man was exonerated, completely exonerated of plagiarism charges. Okay? The people, the authorities in charge of these things, they looked into it and they said, nope, Jason Arday, we've looked at his PhD again. There's nothing to answer here. This is this is yeah, there's nothing, it's all above board. Okay? Now that's cleared, but I I can't pretend not to have heard some of the outlandish things that were said and I'm saying outlandish deliberately because I don't know. I can't call them outright lies because I don't know. They sound unbelievable, but I haven't got time to looking into some random Cambridge professor's um claims on his CV. Like, who cares? Boring. Boring. Who cares? It should have been an internal matter, right? So, but yes, some of these things were outlandish. When you hear them, a broken leg, ran a marathon. I don't even know, like, got into university with a reading age of 9. All of this stuff. Okay, that I seen a clip today of him making that statement in an interview on the news, and the interviewer said, "Is that real? Is that really true?" I'm thinking to myself, you're the same guys who are running articles daily, daily now in the UK. I don't know about what's going on in America, but the UK is continually running articles about how people are turning up to university and they've got like a reading age of 10, and reading age of people who have just come into secondary school. So what do you mean? Why are you questioning him about that? You are writing, the media's constantly telling us everything's going downhill. Everything is degenerating. Kids aren't reading anymore. They're in front of their phones, their tablets. So from that perspective, why you what's the big deal? What's the big deal? It might be a lie, but what's the big deal? Now, there are some other things that were said in this guy's supposed CV, okay, that again you would raise your eyebrow at, okay? But my question is this, and I had this back and forth with a friend, and I said, But bro, I know you're trying to be fair and everything. You're trying to be fair. This is the thing that we do, and we do it to our detriment. We try to be fairer than fair. Like, oh, I gotta be the fair guy in the room. I gotta be. You better clue yourself up. I'm telling you, people, you better clue yourself up. You better clue yourself, because nobody's being fair like that. Nobody's being fair like that in their community, in their own community. Okay, I'm not for reparations. I don't believe in that kind of that's not how we progress going forward. Begging for a handout, no, that's not how we progress. We take things, we organize ourselves, and we take things. Okay, that's how the world works. But if I were for reparations, I would say, I would be like, the audacity to deny black folk reparations when you're giving are the little hat people. Let me just call them little hat people. I don't want YouTube to flag me for shit, because really, you say their name, even their ethnicity could draw attention. Okay, you give the little hat people a whole country, a whole country. Okay, for something that happened, unfortunately, sadly, disgracefully, in 1939 to 1945. Okay, a whole country. We never hear the end of it. Every year there is something, a movie coming out about what the hollow this and the and uh, uh, there's something. We don't hear the end of it. You give them a country that's not even theirs, that people were living on, men, women, and children. You commit G-side on these people, push them out, and you give the little hat people, you give them a country, and you say they're there. We hope, we hope you're happy now. They're not happy. They're not happy. Now we're on the brink of World War III, just to help them out, just to give them, make sure their version of reparations is holding up. Okay. but let a black person talk about reparations. What do you mean, man? Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Put yourself up by the bootstraps. Stop going on about that. Stop going on about that thing. How we built the world, our world, on the back of you and your people. Stop going about that. And of your blood and sweat. Stop doing that. That's long in the past. We only stopped paying the families that owned slaves and sugarcane plantations. We only stopped paying. Britain only stopped paying these people, these families, in 2015. But you want reparations? Come on, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. What is wrong with you? Huh? What? Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because Professor Arday, um, I think was set up. I believe he was set up. I believe we might have seen a ritual sacrifice here. I'm going off on a tangent, massive tangent here. We're going off on a massive tangent here, but it's well worth exploring just briefly. If the things, okay, think about this for a minute, chat. Think about this for a minute, chat. Okay, if the things that Professor Arday have been accused of saying in his CV, if they're true that he said made those statements, okay, and if it's true that they're lies, this is the world's, I believe, third oldest university. Okay, this is many departments, in many departments, the world's best university, Cambridge. How did Jason Arday get past human resources at Cambridge? Chat, let me know how. I'm not asking a question of, oh, I'm not asking the question of, oh, but yeah, that's the point I was making about the whole fair. I went off on a tangent and I forgot my point. You folk out there trying to be fairer than fair and all this fair. The world isn't playing by those rules, you muppets, you fools. Wake up. Wake up. They give the little hat people a whole country to say they're there. and murdered and killed just to make them happy. That's not fair, but it's happening. But you're out here talking about, oh, I want to be fair, I want to be fair. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how far that gets you. Okay? But what I'm saying to you now is I believe Jason Arday was set up. It's very conspiratorial, but I think this was always going to happen. Think about it, chap, right? You've got Kanye West. Why for the longest was somebody who was obviously mentally unstable, Kanye now? Why was he pushed? Why was he given such a big microphone? Why? It was never going to end well. The whole Kanye arc was never going to end well. Yet this guy, they kept pushing this guy as some kind of savior, as some kind of um as some as someone with knowledge or whatever. So, and now where's Kanye? He's the face of he's just the face of foolishness. He's the face of foolishness. Let me what's his name? Diddy, for the longest, this man was mingling with politicians. I know it's a very different context, okay? We're talking about academia and we're talking about something else here. But this man was mingling with politicians, mingling with Clinton. They used him to gain to clout chase to when it comes election time. Diddy rose up with Clinton in pictures to try and garner these blacks, get them on side. See me with Diddy, it's all cool. Hillary Clinton talks about having hot sauce in her bag and all this rubbish. And now, let it be told, Diddy's the face of in a time when we should be all focused on Mr. Trump, the PDF in chief. Okay, we should be focused on that. No one should be distracted at all for one second, not by R. Kelly, not by P. Diddy, not even by Epstein. Okay, but Diddy was offered up for ages. Like they set him up. They set him up. Chicken change. Okay, set him up. Use him at the right time to distract as a sacrificial lamb. I think that's what's happened with Doctor RJ, and I think it's different. It's deeper with Doctor RJ. Okay, I think it's much deeper because if you think about it, if you want to show that black people shouldn't be let into any of these institutions, if you want to prove that, see, it's all this is what you get with DEI. This is what you get with positive discrimination, affirmative action. This is what we. How do you do it if not like this? You give somebody who's obviously made outlandish, like ridiculous statements that you can't really verify, but you have to take him at his word for it. You give him the position. Otherwise, okay, you can't have it both ways. Cambridge can't be this place that is hallowed as a place where all the geniuses go to. You can't have it. I don't care if it was a DEI hire. There are far better. If you're gonna DEI hire somebody, there are far better, infinitely more qualified people without any sort of um asterisks next to what they're saying in their curriculum vitae. But why did they choose our day? Why? I think it was to do this. If you don't believe that that's possible, then you're not paying attention. If you believe that's just conspiracy, you're not really paying attention to how the world works. Because now what's going to happen? What's going to happen? We have what's the conversation that's going on in the UK? It's, oh, we have to look at DEI. We can't do this again. We've Like what happened not long ago in the UK with the stabbing of the unfortunate stabbing of the gentleman, um and the police not reacting to it, as they should have reacted to it. You know, the in the UK there was this white kid that was stabbed and by a Sikh Indian individual, and it was very sad, very rare thing to happen. The Sikhs are notorious in the UK for just minding their business. Okay, but all of that went out the window. What was that story used for? What did they use it for? What did they set it up for? They set it up to say we need to change policing. All this talk of um uh sensitive policing, uh and institutional racism. It doesn't exist in the police. There's no such thing as institutional racism. We're clean. There's we gotta go back to basic policing, aka hunting hunting ninjas in the street with harpoons, boss hog type crap, Dukes of Hazard. That's that's what they mean. That's what we got to go back to now in the UK, because one guy got stabbed and an incompetent cop didn't do what he was supposed to do. This was perfect. It's just too good. It's just too good. But like I said, number two, it's got to be black. Like number one, it's got to be black. But number two, you've got to be moral about it. And that's what we've seen in the media. There's been this moral panic. This is what DEI does. We can't have this. How can such a man rise to? Meanwhile, this guy's teaching sociology. Sociology. You're not teaching quantum physics. Sorry, so sorry if you're listening. You got a sociology degree. I'm sorry, but it has to be said. We can't have this anymore. The whole of sociology. It's like before black people ever got involved in sociology, the whole thing is DEI. What's sociology? What's that? But no, we let that one through. We can't have it again. So there's this moral panic, like we've never seen anything like this. Meanwhile, here's what's been going on. Takes me on to number 3 easy step of how to kill a Cambridge Don and get away with it in 10 easy steps. Step number 3. You ready? Shout out to you, Joy. Miss Neely. Yeah, man. I hear you. Say more racism. Say more racism. Say more racism going on here and there, but it's getting worse. It's getting strange now. It's getting really organized. It's feeling like, it's feeling odd now. It's not the same old. I don't know. I don't usually disagree with you, Joy, but this is feeling a little odd. It's feeling a little strange now. 2026. I've been called the N-word in the street. I didn't do anything. I didn't do nothing. I didn't do anything to deserve it. This guy takes a beeline, this old age pensioner takes a beeline. Okay. And acres and acres of space. We're in a public park, and he chooses to come along, take a route that in which he has to now go past me, and he does so brushing his shoulder against me. And when I ask what's going on, he calls me the N-word. 2026. No, that was actually last year, 2025. I was but thank goodness karma heads prevailed, and we just you're not gonna get me that easy. Come on, move, jog on, buddy, jog on, Karen. You're not gonna catch me, not today, Satan. No, I got kids to raise. No, we're strategic out here. You get yours. Okay. Step number three. He's got to be black. He's got to be black. That's it. That's step number 3. That's step number 3. Um, but let's give it a subheading. He's got to be black, and you've got to distract. Let me say it again, Dr. Umar style. You've got to distract. I'm telling you again, you've got to distract, my people. It's got to be black, and you've got to distract. What do I mean by that? Shout out to King's Monologue. I was listening to him. He's been on this. I cannot go through this stream and not mention how on point he has been on this issue, on his sister channel, King Mono Show. He's been hounding them on this issue for the longest, and he brought up a fellow. Okay, so people have been saying, rightly so, look. This is odd. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Why are you talking about this man when we have, let me share my screen, we have in the UK, this is sad. This is monumentally sad. No, they're not overt with the racism here. They're not overt. See, the English are very, very it's a small island, so in order to rise like it has, it's got to be very clever. The art of the cunning. The art of the cunning. So it had to rise in a different way. And I think that's embedded even in the lifeblood of the UK, even in its culture. They're very, very sly. It's a word. It's a comment and a smile. It's it's someone saying to you on holiday in Cornwall, how did he put it? I bet you like this weather. I bet you like this weather. I said, what? Why should I like this weather? What's wrong with this man? That's what you get in the UK. I bet you like this weather. Mm-hmm. Hey. I bet you got a few watermelons packed up in the boot of that car there. Hey. I'm just saying, everybody loves a good watermelon. Eh? It's very subtle here. Very good. They're very good at gaslighting in this country. It's not the same as it is in the United States of America out there, where they get off my lawn, you nigger. Oh, there goes this video. All right. Okay, right. Let's do it. There we go. Nobody knows. La 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 la. Nobody knows. No, that's not what I want to share. Let's get that off. Nobody knows. Yeah, man, Joy, you just gotta, it's like Madagascar. You just gotta smile and wave, boys. Just smile and wave to survive. You gotta do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do. That's how you gotta do it. Out in the streets, the streets of England. Don't even do it, Joy. Joy says, I rarely eat watermelon around those folks and always with a fork. Nah, I don't know, Joy. You're a brave woman. I wouldn't even do it with a fork. No, thank you. I do not eat. It's been decades since I've been seen with a banana out in public. Decades. I'll tell you that now. I will not do it to myself. Just one of the many things we go through. I mean, nothing you can say about it, but All right, here we go. So I'm listening to the King's Monologue, and King Mono on his show put me on to, let's have a look. Put me on to, where is he? Where is he? Where's this dirty man? This dirty dirt bag. William O'Reilly, Dr. William O'Reilly, Faculty of History. People saying, making a good point and saying, look, why are you coming for Jason Arday of sociology? Sorry if I'm getting that wrong. Sorry if it was actually something else. Why are you coming for this man who's earned this place at Cambridge? We're not even sure if it was a DEI hire. We're not sure. That's just something that is stuck. We're not sure what the parameters for hiring him were, but apparently it's DI. So people are saying, what about Dr. William O'Reilly? No, 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 no. No, no, no. Combined with the moral outrage I was talking about on the head number 2. Combined with that, no, 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 no. This is what we need to talk about right now. But no, check out William O'Reilly, guys. Check out William O'Reilly. Let's look into William O'Reilly. Plagiarizing professor stays in post. Oh, shut up. Manage. No. No. I'm petty like this, guys. So sorry. I'm just going to go through these legitimate interests. My backside. No. No. No, no, no. Don't want you. I know they can still sell my information. I know they still get around it somehow. They get around it by the ones you can't tick. Necessary cookies. All right, confirm choices. Let's go. Plagiarizing professor stays in post and threatens student journalists. More than 12 pages of an article published under O'Reilly's name has been lifted from almost word for word from 2 essays by one of his students. Ooh, this guy, this legend, this Dawn. Okay, this is Cambridge, right? Head of history. A Cambridge professor resorted to legal threats and lies to stop this newspaper from publishing details of a university. Or I better say, I'm reading what Varsity newspaper has reported. It is out in the public domain, Mr. Bill O'Reilly. Dr. William O'Reilly, an associate professor in early modern history, threatened Varsity with legal action if the new. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing. This guy's been actually stealing. I mean, it's one thing to plagiarize other academics' work, established academicians. This scumbag, allegedly a scumbag, has allegedly been nicking his students' work. And you know what's happened to him? He's still in position. No wall-to-wall coverage. We're talking history now, not sociology, not scuba divingology, not hairdressology, no. So listen, we're talking big subjects that have been around forever, established subjects. Okay? Tell me, how? 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 So I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting because it reminds me of the ones I know of. Let's check this out, guys. Mike Israel is a YouTuber. Chat, let me know if you know this guy. If you're a fitness buff like me, you might know of Mike Israel. You might know of Mike Israel. Okay, Mike Israel makes he's a roid head. Okay, he's just a roid head, and he's got millions of subscribers on YouTube till today, despite the fact that a very uh tenacious and amazing researcher, I think his name's Solomon Nelson, on YouTube. Solomon Nelson went to town on this guy and looked into his PhD from East Tennessee State University. And look, let me read what this article says. Let me. Oh my days! Oh my days! Oh my days! All right. In fact, let's watch a video. Let's watch a video on actually how scandalous this story gets. Let's go to YouTube and let's go to Mike Israel PhD. No, we're not watching an hour. Sorry, we're not watching an hour. Mike Israel PhD. Let's have a look. Someone did a very short and concise expose of this man's effery. Oh yes, Zerk Fitness. I like Zerk Fitness. Let's check out Zerk Fitness. Okay, this this is amazing. So we're not talking about a nobody here. This is a guy with a PhD, a doctor, and he's in a popular space. He uses his doctor, his doctorate. He uses it. He waves it around. He bandies it around as or clout, um, as or authority currency. Okay. This. Okay, let's check this out. Come on now. Let's see what we can get. Okay. Israel, blah blah blah. Let's check this one out. All right, we're not doing that. Refresh.
Yo, it's your boy Zerk, and Mike Israel just gave us a
Chat.
brand new excuse for why his PhD is trash. And this one might be the funniest yet.
Chat. Can you let me know if you can hear this? Is the volume okay? Yeah, he's a racist. He's a racist. I see you, chat. Yep, he's a racist. This guy, I'll give you a background on that. Mike Israel, he's removed the video now, but as if anybody, I don't know why we are always on the minds of these folk. Okay, no, this guy has videos. Okay, you're in the fitness space. Okay, I'll tell you why we're on his mind. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why in a minute. He's in the fitness space, sports fitness, right? There's nothing fitness or sports about it. He just injects. Okay, but that's for better for worse. That's what you call what he does, fitness industry. All right, and there's no reason for you to be delving into IQ theories. Okay. But this guy had a video about 2 years back or 3 years back now talking about how, the old spiel about IQ and all this rubbish, about how blacks don't have a good high IQ and white. Meanwhile, all along, this guy's PhD is trash. The thing that gives this guy any credibility was completely made up. So without which he's just a roid head. Just a roid head. It's not like he had some PhD in rocket science or anything like that anyway. But what he did have a PhD in, it turns out it's not real. So this guy is out there making up he's literally inventing test subjects whose physical proportions don't even make any sense in his sports science PhD. He's doing he's there's plagiarism in there allegedly. Okay, there's all manner of things. So this guy goes into damage control, heavy damage control. He blocks comments. He wouldn't have comments on his channel. I think he's only just started having comments again on his channel. And my point is with this guy, he's still out there. He's still out there. He's still got his millions of subscribers, millions and millions of subscribers, millions of followers on Instagram. People still call him doctor. East Tennessee State University has not revoked his PhD after it's been proven, demonstrably proven, that physically the things, the value, the figures that are in this PhD cannot exist, cannot exist, cannot be reproduced. He's still out there. I don't even know if I want to play this because it's just a no. It's much ado about nothing. But let's hear a little. Let's hear just a little.
So remember that damage control podcast Mike went on? The one he sponsors where he's got a room full of yes men nodding along? Well, I went back and watched the whole thing because I hate myself apparently, and Mike dropped some new information. Mike basically admitted his PhD level research was remedial education for coaches who were too dumb to know that muscles make you fast. I'm not making this up. This is Mike's actual defense. Let me walk you through this comedy show. And then if you have something like the hold up. So Mike's defense is, yeah, my PhD research is obvious to smart people, but it's revolutionary to dumbass coaches. What?
So the Mr. High IQ, Mr. Ninjas don't have as high IQ as white folk. His PhD is literally the more fast twitch muscles you have, um, the faster you run. So you can obviously imagine somebody like this doing this research, which is no research. You can see, chat. You can see how someone like this ends up talking about someone like this ends up talking about race, pseudo race science. They're in the cold face. Okay, they're in a sports world. They're in a sports space. And in the sports space, chat, finish it for me. In the sports space, what happens in the sports space? What happens in the physical arena? He needs a blanket. He needs a blanket. He needs something to make going to bed at night easier. Why can't I bench with that that why can't I run as fast as him? Why isn't it as big as? So is it a surprise that someone like this is writing, cope, is making cope videos about IQ years later with his newfound fame on YouTube? Goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. This is deep. This is deep. And this isn't somebody in a corner in the recesses of YouTube or the internet. This is somebody with millions, multiple millions of followers who have seen him do this and make these claims openly, bold-faced, and are still following him. And despite the fact that his shtick is, I'm a doctor, I'm a high IQ person, I'm this and that, listen to his PhD. Listen to what's in his PhD. And we're out here talking about Jason Arday. We're out there distracting from white mediocrity. Distracting from white mediocrity. Really. That's all this is. That's all 2026 in the Western world is. Distracting from a falling, crumbling empire. Because really, Morally, you can't sustain this paradigm. People are waking up. They're saying it should be a level playing field, whether that's DEI or positive, whatever it is, whether it's given, whether it's fair trade, whether it's uh, no more color revolutions. We know what you're doing. We know what you're doing in Mali. We know what you're doing in Burkina Faso. We know what you're doing in um Mali, Burkina, Niger. We know. We see you. We don't want it anymore. So to distract from that, to distract from an empire that cannot morally sustain itself, these are the stories. These are the things you're going to keep getting. Jason Arday's. To distract from a PDF class that is almost exclusively of a certain extraction. Let's not deal with that. Let's not deal with that. Let's deal with a few Asian men in the north of England somewhere taking advantage of young women. Let's deal with that. Let's blow that out of proportion. The royal family, members of the royal family, okay, are implicated. Let's not deal with that. Where real powerful people who can actually who if you were gonna stop any like um societal depravity in the way of you know you know s trafficking and child s trafficking, how would you do it? Would you be going to low levels or would you be going to the very top? They say the fish rots from the head. You'd be going to the very top. You'd be knocking down all doors. Yet we are to believe in the United Kingdom that Prince Andrew is it only stops at Prince Andrew. It stops at Prince Andrew. He's the only one. Don't look at not Prince Chop. Prince Chop. How dare you? The King of England. How dare you even think that one of Jimmy Savile's closest friends? What somebody who can't no. It's unfounded. It's ridiculous. Look at the Asians in Rochdale instead. Look at the Pakistani folks in Rochdale instead. Look at the gangs coming from on the boats. It's a sick society. It's just a sick society, a deluded society, a society in denial, in absolute rank denial. And it's okay to be in denial, but it's how you sustain that denial. It's how the society, particularly the society, sustains that denial that is an indictment on it. It sustains that denial. It's not enough to just keep stum, keep calm and carry on. Let's distract. Let's give you instead of looking at Mike Israels with millions of followers with actual cultural clout, let's look at Jason Arday of the sociology department in Cambridge. Let's look at that. I know this is a story from across the pond. Mike Israel is in the US, but come on, guys. We're all connected now at this stage. Anything happens in America, anything that's big in America, if the media want, they can blow it up here. They can make again, case in point is this story. It's a non-story. A guy has lost his life. Again, link in the description. GoFundMe for his family. Um to help with the funeral costs and to help with everything else that just yeah, link in the description. A guy's lost his life who yesterday nobody knew his name, nobody cared either, and you made him the poster boy when meanwhile there's a guy like this.
A guy. That's not a defense. That's an insult to your own work. That's like doing a doctoral dissertation to prove that But I had coaches my whole career telling me not to lift weights because it's going to make me muscle bound and slow.
Chat, can you hear the video? Press 1 if you can hear the video. Press 1 if you can hear the video.
They read your dissertation. Stupid people don't suddenly become smart because you showed them a 125-page academic paper with statistical analysis. If a coach thinks muscles make you slow, showing him your research methodology isn't going to help. He's going to look at your research methodology and be like, I don't understand any of this. Get out of here with this nerd shit, bro. You know what will work? A YouTube video, a simple article, a coaching seminar, not a doctoral dissertation with 200 typos and statistically impossible data. The folks that follow Solomon's channel are in evidence-based fitness. And so their prerequisite understanding of physiology and anatomy is very high. Like, Solomon's a smart guy, and his followers are really smart. And so they're like, duh. But the dissertation, this is sports, not fitness. It's sports. And all love and respect. But there is a spectrum of sport coaches' understanding of anatomy and physiology. And that spectrum runs really high with fucking elite people who really know things, and are really, really low. Here's where Mike's logic completely falls apart. Mike says educated fitness people think his research is obvious, but coaches needed his PhD to learn this basic shit. So let me get this straight, Mike. Your PhD level research is too basic for educated people, but too advanced for the uneducated coaches is supposed to help. That's not a niche, bro. That's a problem. Mike's essentially saying my dissertation exists in this magical zone where smart people think it's remedial and dumb people need it explained differently. That's not groundbreaking research. That's a YouTube video. My guy wrote a 125-page dissertation to teach coaches that fat makes you slower. That's a tweet, not a PhD. PSA to coaches, leaner athletes run faster. You're welcome. That'll be 6 years of my life and $100,000 in tuition. And then if you have something like the papers off of my dissertation to give them and explain to them in very plain language, the evidence-based people would correctly say it is obvious. And they're not wrong. And the coaches would read that and be like, oh, holy shit. Mike tries to defend this by saying his dissertation was written in very plain language so coaches could understand it. But Mike, it's a doctoral dissertation with academic formatting, statistical analysis, research methodology, data tables, APA citations. If you wanted to reach dumb coaches who think muscles make you slow, why did you write it in dissertation format? That's like trying to teach kindergartners and handing them a medical textbook. Here, kids, this is written in very plain language about why you should eat vegetables. It's only 125 pages with a methodology section and statistical regression analysis. Super simple. If Mike really wanted to educate coaches, he should have written a book or made videos or done coaching seminars. You know, things that coaches would actually read and understand. Instead, he wrote an academic paper that lives on a university website that nobody visits, and then acts like it was meant for mass education. Mike.
Just 69 pounds. People think we're more expensive than what we actually really do charge. But for 69 pounds, you can have a full wash, treatment, education, goal setting, measurement.
Okay, I think my wife has been using my YouTube account. Shut up. Shut up. You get the point. Okay? You get the point, guys. Okay? So that's a person who, if he didn't have this scandal come out about him, has millions of people following him. Okay? Millions of people following him who has who believes in his PhD status, in his title as a doctor, therefore lending credence to his idea of to his racist science, his idea of blacks have lower IQ and are this. What is the basis of that argument? What is not basis? What is the point? What is the end result of the IQ argument? That's why channels like mine are very important, because we're trying to show that historically the world goes around in cycles. History goes around in cycles. Once upon a time, it was you itching and scratching and being dominated, itching in the dirt and being dominated by other people who look nothing like you. Okay? You had your own thing going on. You had your own thing going on, but you didn't look so great in that time. You didn't look so great in that time of history. This thing goes up and down. So don't you dare be coming to talk to me because you're up today and you're artificially up because you've got your boot on the necks of people, whereas when we were up, we did not see the necessity to have our boot on your neck in order to elevate ourselves. We didn't. Today you're up, but you're up artificially. But even if you're going to be up artificially, don't you dare fix your mouth. Don't you dare fix your mouth to say,
69 pounds, hair care, right now.
don't you dare fix your mouth to say it's because of IQ. It's because you're inherently. What's the end of that? The end goal is to dehumanize, which takes us. Actually, we're not done. We're not done. Um, You've seen William O'Reilly. You've seen Mike Israel. I could go on, but let me show you this one more guy. One more example. This one will shock you. Shout out to Professor Kehinde Andrews. Professor Kehinde Andrews. Okay. Shout out to him because he put me on watching his videos, on watching his um um talking, his railing about this issue. He put me on to this individual. Academic caught with child. A Cambridge University academic was caught with more than 1,500 indecent images of children, a court has heard. This is an article from July 2008. Nicholas Hammond, 44, admitted 15 counts of making, distributing, and possessing indecent images of children at Cambridge Crown Court. The academic is a specialist in modern French theatre at Gonville and Caius College, Cambridge, or Gonville and Key. Hammond, who now lives in Paris, was released on conditional bail to reappear for sentence on 5th of September. The offences had taken place in Cambridge in 2006 and 2007, the court heard. Hammond was living in a flat in Queen's Road, Cambridge, when he first appeared before magistrates in May before moving to France. A judge has ordered him to stay at a relative's home in London until he is sentenced. Oh, oh my goodness. I'm not gonna say what should have happened to this guy because it might get him booted. I'm already on a tight rope with I don't even know if some of the things I've said tonight might not get me outright off the platform. Let's hope not. A judge has ordered him to stay at a relative's home in London until he is sentenced. A profile of Dr. Hammond on the Cambridge University website says he is a reader in early modern French theatre and thought in the Department of French, a university spokesman, said that Hammond had been on special leave. My word. Cambridge put a man caught making, distributing, and possessing indecent images of children. They put such a man on special leave. Special leave. So, okay, okay. Color me shocked. What happened? Perhaps Mr. What's his name? Hammond is no longer at Cambridge, right? Right, chat? Chat, what do we think? He can't be at Cambridge anymore, right? This is 2008. It's 2008. Chat, what do you think happened to Nicholas Hammond? I almost said, what do you think happened, chat? Let's go on. Current awareness. Legal news selected by the Inner Temple Library. Cambridge University professor who shared child abuse, who shared images online avoids jail. Daily Telegraph. A Cambridge poetry expert who shared child and images has avoided jail. Full story there. Let's click and see what we get. He avoids jail, guys. How did he escape? Oh, this is a different one. Oh my goodness, this is a different one. This isn't Nicholas Hammond. Oh my. Oh, this is disgraceful. I can't. I'm not gonna read this out. I'm not gonna read this out. Sentenced to 12 months, suspended for 2 years. What is going on? Okay, okay. Let's just move off of that. Let's look for our initial test subject. Nicholas Hammond, Cambridge. Oh, oh. I mean, early modern French literature. This has to be the same guy, no? Modern French theater. Oh. Wow. 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 No national scandal. This is the society we're living in. This is the society we're living in right now, guys. You hound a man to death who, at the worst, all he did was lie on his CV. Allegedly. Okay? The jury's still out on that. You hound a man to the point where he can't step out. This is a father of two, I believe. He can't step out the house. He's very recognizable with his long uh dreads, very distinct face. You hound him, a black man, you hound him. Meanwhile, all for what? All for what? All for what? Because actually, if we looked into matters, if we actually looked into matters, if we wanted to investigate academia, this is who should be going. This is who should be going. People like this should be going. People like this man stealing from his students, and goodness knows what else. But instead, Mr. Arday is no longer with us because he couldn't see a way out. Now, I go back to my initial premise of this video. Tell me that this isn't almost spiritual. Because I say that knowing full well what that implies. Okay? There are people who, when this man was alive, will call themselves Christians and would have stood on some kind of pedestal to say, see, this is what I mean, this isn't fair, this isn't right, people should get in on merit, and okay, fine, all right, you got on your soapbox, you've done what it does, is fine, okay, let's move on. No, this is a national scandal, we've had enough of this. What? For a week? For 2 weeks? 3 weeks? Oh, now he's dead. Well, this is very sad. This is like, I don't know if you've, I don't, I don't know if you've ventured into over onto the very, very low ends of YouTube recently with this whole Odyssey debacle. But after the movies come out and after it's grossed the most of any movie so far this year and people love it and the critics said it's actually great, you know what these channels are doing now? You know what the nerdrotics and the critical drinkers and the Metatrons of the world, you know what they're doing now? I went for my sins. I was on one of Metatron's videos. Okay. I just clicked one and I listened for about 5 minutes. I don't even think I listened for 5 minutes exactly. I think I was just skimming to see the most popular the most popular point of the video. And I came up to a point in his video where this man actually fixed his mouth and he said, okay, let's just pause and this is Metatron speaking now. Let's just pause. On one side, you got the people saying this, and you got the other side, people saying this, and there's been too much of a culture war about this whole Odyssey thing. Let's get to. I'm like, what? What? There's too much of a culture war? What, you're saying there's too much of a culture war over this film? You haven't stopped making videos since before this movie was released, and now go on his channel. It's video after video after video with crappy AI thumbnail after crappy AI thumbnail talking about the Odyssey. And this guy, I'm waiting to see to get the irony in his narrative, to hear some kind of sense of irony. He's being ironic. No, this guy is now positioning himself as some kind of reasonable person in the room, trying to get to the truth of Homer's Odyssey and Christopher Nolan's Odyssey and trying to square everything logically, and he's not part of this culture war. That's what we've seen. That's what we're seeing with Professor Arday right now. Now the same people who did him in are now acting like we have to assess this. We have to evaluate this. Okay. This is the man. This is the man who started this whole debacle. Okay, and he just listen to him.
No, you're not answering the question. I've spoken with a young.
This is the man right off the bat, chat. Right off the bat, this should have been a non-story. When the person who is leaking and making a fuss about Arday's CV is a man like Nathan Kofnes, who lost his job at the same university a few years back, a couple of years back now, for saying, for writing words to the effect of, well, you're about to see. When this is the caliber of the man who starts this debate and this harassment of Jason Arday, okay, that's when we just all say no. This man believes that black students or that really there should be effectively there should be no such thing as a black professor. He wrote an article saying, he doesn't believe that let me just I don't want to mischaracterize him. Let's listen to him. Let's listen to him.
Black female student. No, you'll listen to me. No, you'll listen to me. Doctor, we do it my way. Nana, so you are a student at Cambridge?
Yes, I'm a black philosophy student at Cambridge.
Do you know Dr. Kofnas?
Yes, I do know Dr. Kofnas, and we actually held a protest against his employment here. And I think the main issue when it comes down to his research and what he says is the fact that as a university, they also have a duty of care to us students. And the issue is the proportion of black students is not enough at Cambridge. And when instances like this happen, we tend to feel overlooked and very, very marginalised already, to be honest, as a group. And the issue is that once his certain research and views out there, it invited a lot of hateful comments and a lot of racist comments. So in our philosophy group chats, there were discussions about the type of racism in his argument, and I just think certain things should not.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this. For those who don't know, the row first erupted. This is the BBC article. This Jason Arday row first erupted after another academic self-defined, quote, race realist, Nathan Kofnes, who was sacked from his Cambridge role in 2024, said he found numerous instances of plagiarism in the professor's work. So he started a witch hunt against this man, a witch hunt that should have gone no further because the universities came out and exonerated Mr. Arday. Okay? All right. But let's look into Nathan Kofnes's background because Nathan Kofnes is on a warpath. Nathan Kofnes. Kofnes was born in Chicago, raised Jewish, grew up in Manhattan. Interesting. Um, he developed an interest in hereditarianism, 16. Okay. He developed an interest in debunking the work of anti-Semitic. Of course, of course, because that's the ox that must not be gored. Anti-Semitism, eh? Eh? So he developed an interest in debunking the work of anti-Semitic conspiracy theorists. Blah blah blah. Right. That ox must not be gored, but you're a race realist. Oh, okay, all right. Kofnes wrote a book titled Reptiles with a Conscience, The Co-Evolution of Religious and Moral Doctrine, published in 2012 by Richard Lynn's Ulster Institute of Social Research, a British race and intelligence think tank. Kofnes later withdrew the book from publication, hoping to publish it in the future in future work. So this man has an agenda for the longest, okay, to prove the inferiority of another people. Yet so he got what he wanted. He got what he wanted in the end. He got what he wanted. Okay. and he's gonna get more of it because on the basis of this, forget it. DEI is gone. DEI is gone. Okay, so all of you really fair sambos out there, that's okay. That's okay. People are going to be looking at you in your jobs now and saying, how did you get that job? How did you get that cushy job? How did you get that role at as the professor of this or the head of that department, or at 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 JP Morgan there, or at any of these big, or at Magic Circle firms? How'd you get that position? Magic Circle law firm. How'd you get that position? All these sambos talking about how there shouldn't be any, it should all be fair, and there shouldn't be any hand uh any way to help and equalize anything, because if the society is fair, there's no such thing as racism in a country where people were still in within my living memory, people were still having bananas thrown at them at football grounds. Till today, there are parts of London, around Bermondsey, when I was a student, when I used to live in London, that I used to have to be careful walking through, around the Millwall area, right? If you know, you know. If you're in the UK and you know about Millwall, you know, that's in 2000 and whenever. You know, that's in the UK now. Okay, there's no these sambos running around saying there's no such thing as this and that, where I've been stopped multiple times for no reason. Now I don't dress any type of way. Okay, stopped numerous times now. Okay, but because you've not experienced it, it doesn't exist, right? You're about to experience it. Sambos, you're about to experience it, because DEI is gone and everybody's going to be looking at you funny. They're going to be looking at you funny in that nice job you got. How'd you get it? How'd you get it? This is Nathan Coffness. This is the guy who started this. This is the guy who started this. In 2018, Coffness argued in Human Nature that Kevin McDonald's work promoting blah, blah, blah. He argued in Human Nature that Kevin McDonald's work promoting anti-Semitic tropes relied upon, quote, misrepresented sources and cherry-picked facts. Look at this scumbag. Look at this scumbag. So he can claim that people are cherry-picking and mischaracterizing and unfairly stereotyping his group of people, okay? But he's a race realist when it comes to black folk. And he's been taken seriously. He's appearing on podcasts with the likes of lower pond scum like David Starkey to announce how he's caught this black professor out, how he's found plagiarism in high places. This is the guy who started it. Okay, so that's the background. Let's hit play. Let's hit play. Nope. There we go.
Be discussed intellectually, and especially things that have no academic backing and background and so on, especially when we held a protest just to speak against his opponent and his views. A lot of his supporters were flooding the social media with racist comments, using slurs and so on, inciting violence.
Okay, so Nana, to the 4 academics at Oxford, 2 from Cambridge, 2 from King's College London, some from Harvard and elsewhere, who say this is part of academic thought and philosophical research that allow to think items such as these. What would you say to them, Nana?
I think, as a student, I very much, I think academic freedom is very important, and I think freedom of speech is very important as well. You should be able to express your argument in an intelligible way, but the issue is what his argument consists of, and I don't think that there's any academic backing to his argument. So as the student body, we were very surprised in the first place how he was able to get his scholarship and his appointment, because as you go into his argument, as you read certain things he says, he argues that these inherent genetic differences, he doesn't take into account a lot of environmental factors or historical factors and so on. So I think that, yes, academic freedom is important, But you need to look at the arguments and how they're making these arguments. And I think that his arguments are very flawed.
Have you ever been able to discuss this in person with Dr. Kofnas?
No, we were not able to discuss it in person, but the faculty did hold an open meeting for students to come and discuss their problems with anything said, and the pro-vice chancellor attended also.
Do you think this man should lose his job?
Yes, sir.
It takes all of your home to be all of you. Stanley, enjoy the life upstairs.
Shut up, man.
Yes, I do think he should lose his teaching position, which has already been stripped off of him. But I think it's inappropriate to give him positions.
Probably making this man unemployable for the rest of his career.
I think when you have arguments like that, you're supposed to be working with students from different backgrounds.
This man speaking this interview is a fool himself. Big fool. Big fat fool. Okay, I mean, it's just not body shame. I'm just saying. I'm just giving physical description. He's a big fat fool. Okay, that's what he is. Because that kind of I don't even care about playing devil's advocate. That's a very stupid statement to make about your property. She has no power whatsoever. She's not making anybody. So stop trying to pretend like he's a victim. All of that. So if you're gonna play devil's advocate, do it with some intelligence. You're probably making this man on him. How? Like what?
In different ways to use them. I think it is problematic for you to be working in that particular field.
And it's a duty of care, lastly, because do you mind my asking? It causes you personal physical distress.
Yeah, I think being a black student at Cambridge is already very difficult at times. You can feel quite other than marginalised. And I think that when you have a professor in your department that says these sort of views and you have people coming to you debating about things, I think it can create not a nice feeling when you're supposed to be happy in your academic setting and able to enjoy what you're doing and learning.
All right, let's hear from Kofnas.
Good luck with your studies, Nana, and so relevant as you're right there at the heart of the story. What made you start this research in the first place? Good morning.
Research into how blacks have low IQ and whites have high IQ. That's what he's talking about, right? Okay, let's go.
Right, good morning. So my background is in the...
Bear in mind, whenever this topic comes up, the goalposts are always shifting. Always shifting. For the longest, they've wanted to prove that the scumbaggery that they've been doing across the world is justified, either because IQ or skull size, or it's rubbish. Okay, you can't just go somewhere and think, oh, these people have a different way of living. They have a different way of living. You can't do that. You can't say, oh wow, we could learn from this, and we have learned from this. We've taken this. No, you take it, then you pretend like you invented it yourself. Then you come back and you say, after invading and doing them down, go and look into anyway, massive tangent. No, you do all of that, and then after doing all of that, raping the civilization, destroying it, stunting it. Go look what they did to India. I've spoken about this before. One of the richest parts of the world. The riches of India were untold until the British Empire got its hands into it. Look what it is today. I'll say no more. It is memology. India today, shout out to my Indians, you guys are memed. You're memed. And you know what the memes are? Sadly. It was not always so. Okay? But retrospectively, they want you to believe that that's it. Oh, of course. Yeah, look at that culture. Look at it. It's rinse, repeat. Okay? So for the longest, they've wanted to prove this. But they always shift the goalposts. They always say, once upon a time, it was, the black man is too, he has an intrinsic cowardice. He could never do well in a boxing ring. Okay, until you equal the playing fields and Jack Johnson bursts on the field. There were several before Jack Johnson, and today is completely different. Okay, it's the same across different fields of sports, different fields of competition. You put up a bar for ages, you make up theories as to why. After putting up the bar yourself, then you make up theories as to why. Oh, see, they could never, they just don't have it. But then when you take away the bar, you see what happens when there's a level playing field. Okay, when there's a level playing field, there's no cunning there's no rubbish, there's no underhanded tactics, there's a level playing field. You see what happens. What do you do then? Then you say, well, we know they're good at that, but is there anything else? Is there anything else? Really? For the longest, um music is a thing. I'm watching, I'm just waiting to see what they will say about this individual who is I can't remember his name, and I always forget people's name, but he's rising in the piano world, in the classical music world. I always get, my Instagram is always flooded with stuff from him where he's just playing a piano. Shout out to anyone who can remember his name. They will change, when it's music they change, I've spoken about country music before. I've spoken about how a lot of country music was taken from black people. They looked down on it. They looked down at our innovations in the country music space. Then when they took it from us and they repackaged it as a white thing, then this isn't really your music. You don't really have that. You're not that way inclined. It's just look at I had an example just now in my head, but when you remove the bar, my point is, when you remove the artificial bars and people start dispelling these race theories, these stupid ideas that one group is inherently non-human and can't perform or can't do this and that, they change, they complete overnight, they just shift the argument. They shift the argument. We won't be here much longer. Let's just have a listen to what this fool has to say. The fool that started it all.
Philosophy of science, particularly biology, philosophy of biology and ethics. So I'm interested in the relevance of evolutionary theory to various problems in across areas of science and philosophy. And as part of this research, I study human evolution and population differences among humans, including in traits such as intelligence.
How do you determine the level of intelligence down to someone's skin color?
Intelligence and skin color per se are not related. So there are population differences in the means and distributions of scores on intelligence tests.
So you're really saying your research prompts.
So population differences, invariably those populations will the populations that end up on the wrong end of those test results will invariably be in the global south. And this man really expects us to believe that in a situation where half the world has its back spread and the other half, okay, has built and is building their world on the backs of kids who are mining in the Congo, going down mine shafts in the Congo, who are in India, the state of poverty in that country right now, the state of farming in that country, what Bill Gates has done to farming in that country, how he's with his artificial crops through his NGOs, how he's ruined farming in that country to the point where people who are growing, who are the breadbasket of the world, cannot feed themselves. This man expects us to believe that he's come up with some test that negates all of that context, okay, and has put kids in classrooms and has weighed their IQ, their brain, take away the context of not having any food to eat, having to deal with some disgusting realities that kids in this part of the world do not have to even think about, isn't even on the spectre of their mind. Okay, this man expects us to believe that his test, okay, is a fair summation, is a fair, is a good representation of intelligence across population groups. Cha, are you listening to this? This is the man that started this. This is the man that started this. I don't want to watch him anymore. Listen to this.
Jason Arday, the youngest black professor at the University of Cambridge, was found dead on Friday after weeks of intense media scrutiny around accusations of plagiarism and details of his background and charity work.
Well, in the wake of his sudden death, there have been calls for a public inquiry into the press, and that's been signed by high-profile figures, including sociologist and friend of Jason Arday, Professor Kyle.
I went to see Jason on Monday. There's a few of us went down to try and give him some support because I spoke to him. He was very, very struggling with everything. When I saw him, he'd lost weight. He was very clearly depressed. And this is all it got to him. This has been an unprecedented amount of media scrutiny. He felt I couldn't leave the house, and he was just completely overwhelmed. I mean, one of the last texts he sent to me said that he just couldn't see a way out. He just couldn't see a way forward, given everything and all this media storm that had been concocted.
Well, obviously, we're still awaiting the official cause of death, but clearly assumptions are being made. Did he give any indication to you that of what his intentions were?
There is a young man has been lynched by the media. I mean, it's very clear.
Shout out to Kendi Andrews for saying that.
He was very, very.
He sounds sensible in this interview, but a few months ago, I think the reason he sounds sensible is because something's happened to him, and quite recently, this man that is about to speak might have had to come to just the realization that, oh, okay, this is how things work. He's usually brought on as the acceptable face of racism. Usually he's brought on to be the black guy in the room that says, no, there's no there with every situation. There's no this is political correctness gone mad, and you know, the rah the same old same old. But I believe something happened to him at either the Telegraph or the Daily Mail, where he worked to put out just stupid opinion pieces to make, which are designed to make you know, establishment the white establishment in this country, make them feel comfortable. And that's his job. That was his job. And he would come on TV and do some interviews, and he would just come out with sample opinions, you know. And something happened to him. I can't remember what it was, and I don't really care to go into it. But ever since then, this guy's sounds a bit more reasonable. So that's the background behind him. I think he was fired. I think he was fired because someone moved to him in a funny way, and he said, look, that's racist. So the sample calls racism, and it doesn't matter. It never mattered. It just didn't matter all the good deeds he had done prior, all the banking up he had done before. The minute he stood up for himself in that way, he got sacked. He got sacked, and then the story became such and such is suing the Telegraph for racism. It was hilarious. So Sambo learned good. Anyway, here's this guy speaking. Let's see what he says. I mean, like I said, he sounded very, very, very reasonable in this interview here. Oh, for goodness sake.
custom email address and matching domain name, which 86% of our customers said helped to improve.
Did you hear that? So it came out in the end. It came out in the end. His Samboism came out in the end. This guy literally tried to blame the disgraceful conduct of the British media. Disgraceful is not the word for it. The inhuman, the psychopathic, the demon-like, demonic behavior of these people. He tried to blame it on the fact that it was a slow news period. Okay, that's essentially what I was prefacing bore out. This is his job. So he has to. I said I've forgotten the list now. I've forgotten the 10 ways to kill a Cambridge Don. The 10 ways to kill a Cambridge Don and get away with it. What's the name of the video? Sorry, how to kill a Cambridge Don and get away with it in 10 easy steps. You just see it. That's part of the cleanup. That's part of the cleanup. Sure, it was the silly season. You know, he says, absolutely sick. But you notice what he does. This is what I was saying earlier, you have to be moral about it. He talks about how he prayed for Jason in church. And then he even prayed for him this Sunday. Chat, what's the point? I don't know if there's any religious people in the building. I mean, okay, I guess Catholics do it. I guess Catholics do it a lot, you know. But I don't do it. What's the point of praying for someone who's dead? They're dead. They're gone. They're gone to the next world. They got questions to answer to their maker. What their walk is completely different now. They're in eternity. This guy comes on. I prayed for him. I prayed for him this Sunday. He's dead, bro. What are you praying for? Fraud. Just fake morality, fake moral high grounds, fake sort of. It's like Sambo, Officer Sambo, with the Nolan Wells case in America. There, you see him in front of the camera with an "I Love Jesus" cap on. Like, really? That's supposed to, you know, that's supposed to cover all the caping you're doing for potential murder suspects, is it? I love Jesus on my baseball cap. This guy says I prayed, and then he goes on to say, it's such a shame. It just happened. All of this happened when there's nothing going on in the news. And shout out to the lady on the sofa who says, nah, I'm not letting that slide. I'm not letting that slide. No way. What do you mean silly season? We've had wildfires. We've had Trump dodging assassination attempts, getting into like kitchen cupboards and stuff off Air Force One. We've had droughts. We've had what did we have recently in the UK? We had a new prime minister. There's a million things to talk about. Can we investigate the data centers that are being built everywhere? Whilst you tell us there's climate change and we have to start living like slaves and peasants. Bill Gates and all his friends are building data centers everywhere, taking trillions and trillions of gallons of water. And there's a drought and there's climate change. Where's your intrepid journalism looking into that contradiction? No, let's look at Jason Arday because it's silly season. Everybody, there's nothing else to talk about. I'm almost done. They know, love. They know. He knows. This fool to your right. He knows this Richard guy. They all know this. This is the damage control of a people, a morally bankrupt society, a culture that has to keep itself. It's like Kende Andrews' book, Sorry, but Not Sorry. He named it well, White Psychosis. The psychosis, what's Kende Andrews' book? The Psychosis of Whiteness. You have to keep, it is what it is. They know that. They know that that doesn't even make sense as an argument. Yet, if you were not in that room, lady, if you were not in that room, that argument would pass unchallenged. Just pass unchallenged as another way of soothing consciences across the nation.
Which he wasn't.
We literally have the most powerful man in the world by a long shot who tells lies to survive. This guy tells lies. He moves his lips and it's lies. He lives by lies. The most powerful man in the world. Yeah, he's at the head of peace deals here, there, and everywhere. Like, what are we talking about? What is this man talking about? A textured character. He told, like, what? But it's him we have to go after.
The big arch just got bacon, smoky and crispy with that delicious.
We missed is that there's been an individual here.
All right, chat. That's it. I think it's apt that the last word in the chat from about 20 minutes ago, and it's still the last word in the chat, is a boring. Make no mistake, we're in a very strange place right now across the world. Some very, very sick people are on the rise, and for some reason, some of our folk, skin folk, have not understood this. They don't understand what's going on, and they're not going to understand till it's too late. It is what it is. We are always, I feel like when I say we, I mean the black diaspora now, is always going to be used as scapegoats when the world needs scapegoats. When the world paradigm as it is right now, as it's run by an elite group of sadistic, I don't know what you want to call them, Anglo-Saxon hierarchy. I don't even know. I don't know. I'm very keen to say this is not a skin color thing. I think it's a culture thing. It's very easy to make it that, but it would be a lie too. Some of the people shouting to the rooftops about this, and I have been shouting to the rooftops about this for the longest, have been white folk. But the system right now in place, the culture right now in place, needs black scapegoats. And for whatever it's worth, it's run by people who don't look like said black scapegoats. You know what I'm talking about, guys. You know what I'm talking about. Hey, what's happened to Jason Arday? Pray for his family. I hope they can get through this. The link's in the description below. This should have never happened. Should never been allowed to happen. But make no mistake, it will happen again. Um, there's something in the air right now. I don't know what it is. Something in the air right now, and it's my personal belief that someone somewhere is trying to stir up some kind of a war. I'll leave it at that. Don't fall for it. Stay grounded. Stay grounded. Love your people on the ground. And what can I say, guys? Draw close to the Lord. Draw close to God. Draw close to God, man. That's what I do. That's what I do. And that's reality. But yeah, make no mistake. There's some difficult days ahead. There's some hard times ahead, guys. And yeah, only the strong will survive it. Mentally strong, spiritually sound. So yeah, stay clued up, guys. Stay clued up. My condolences to Mr. Arday's family. Donate via the link below. And yeah, yeah. From Kush to Compton, it's been Trill Black. All right, guys. Take care, everyone. Peace.